Here, read this.
Woof.
Hello everybody, Ash here from the Ear Read This podcast. Just a very short video today, a sort of special announcement. I need to bring your attention to this book, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm sure you've heard of it. You may even have listened to a podcast I made about it a few years ago, but this is an edition like no other. It's one I've made. So for those of you who don't know, I work at a bookshop in Old Town Edinburgh called John Kay's, named after an 18th century caricaturist. If you want to find out more about him, I made a video interviewing Eric Melvin, who wrote a whole book on John Kay and Edinburgh. But at the shop, we've recently set up a press where we're going to be re-releasing classic works of literature with a connection to Edinburgh. And first on our list was one of my all-time favourite books, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm really absolutely delighted with how it's turned out. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking thing, thanks to my sister, who has done the cover illustration and also the illustration for the publisher's logo on the back. My sister Elle does all of the illustrations for the podcast, so all of those author portraits are done by her. But those author illustrations are ink drawings, whereas this is actually a lino cut. So that's sort of continuing the printing tradition of John Kay. I actually have some of my sister's prints from her lino cut. That's the publishing logo. That's based off a self-portrait John Kay made of himself with a bust of Homer and his cat in the background. The cat, he claimed, he claimed it was the biggest cat in Edinburgh. A larger one of the front cover. We talked quite a lot about what we were going to have, and for reasons that I'll get into in a sec, we settled on a sort of riff on Victoria Street where John Kay's The Bookshop is. It's sort of at the top. Oops, I'm out of shot. It's sort of at the top up here, so behind these buildings. And then this is the view sort of looking up Victoria Street. But yes, we actually do also have lino cut prints in the shop on sale. And we might be looking at doing digital prints, postcards, that kind of thing as well. But yeah, the whole process was great fun. So my involvement was copy editing the book. I've told a few customers in the shop that I've edited the book, and I think they've taken that to mean that I've abridged it somehow or sort of reorganized it according to my tastes, which obviously I haven't. I just mean that I copy edited it. You do have to make some editorial decisions about a book that's been around since 1886, because there have been various versions that make minor, punctuation changes, spelling changes, that kind of thing, layout changes. So what I did was, I don't have a first edition of Jekyll and Hyde, so I had a copy of it on archive.org open, as well as various other editions I do have, and sort of took it from there, deciding which versions made the right choices. I've written a little bit about that in the actual book, but broadly I followed the first edition. I've also written an introduction for it, which looks at a long-standing critical question with Jekyll and Hyde to do with the setting. The novel is set in London, but since sort of the start of the 20th century, a few critics have wondered whether it's London in disguise. There is something rather Edinburgh-ish about this London. So I describe how the history of that question came about through writers like Clayton Meeker Hamilton and G.K. Chesterton. I give you my own 2 cents for what they're worth, and see what Edinburgh souvenirs can be picked up in this visit to Stevenson's London. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm also kind of blown away with how well it's gone down. We ordered 100 initially. That was, I can't remember, about a month ago, and they sold out incredibly quickly. We've already sold out another 100, and we've had to order twice as much. So I guess when it comes to releasing a book, it's best to release one that's already wildly popular. That's my little insight from the publishing trenches. I guess all that remains to be said is if you would like a copy of your own, the easiest way to do so is to drop into John Kay shop in Edinburgh on Victoria Street. But if you're from further afield or can't make the trip, then you can drop me an email at info@johnkayshop.com and tell me how many you'd like, and we'll find a way of getting one to you. If you are coming into the shop, we do also have these lino cuts, and like I said, we might be looking at getting postcards, magnets, something digital done in the near future. So yeah, that's it really. Thank you so much to everyone who has already got one of these or has posted about it and taken much better pictures than I have of the book. It's been really cool, and we're already on with the next one. I'm not going to risk superstition by telling you what it is, but hopefully we'll get it together in the next couple of months. I think that's everything. Usual broadcast service will resume shortly, and thank you very much, and happy reading.